Welcome to the Goalbusters Expert Peak Productivity Tips podcast, where top business experts get just 7 minutes to answer 5 rapid-fire questions about what they do and how they stay productive. Each episode is packed with actionable insights to help boost your efficiency and achieve your goals. Let's dive in and unlock the secrets to peak performance.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Robin J. Emden and I'm an accountability coach and the author of Get Resultsology, The Science of Getting Stuff Done. I work with people who run their own business. No boss, distractions everywhere and never enough hours in the day. Together we cut through the noise, sharpen their focus and follow through on the big ideas that actually move the needle. That's what I call the momentum formula. Do it today, profit tomorrow, and repeat. So, if that sounds like the kind of breakthrough that you've been looking for, then you're in exactly the right place. And speaking of being in exactly the right place, I am delighted to welcome our guest expert today, Kelly Schuknecht. Kelly is the founder and Chief Elevation Officer of 2 Mile High Marketing. With nearly 20 years in marketing, publishing and digital content, Kelly helps business-to-business experts, agency owners and entrepreneurs turn expertise into influence through clear, practical go-to-market strategy, thought leadership content, podcast and speaking visibility, and ghostwriting. Kelly, welcome to Goalbusters.
Thank you for having me on, Robin.
You're extremely welcome. And how did I do with the name pronunciation there?
You did good. You did good. Schuknecht. You got it.
Great. That's a first for me. Whereabouts in the world are you, Kelly?
I am in Colorado in a little town called, I'm actually physically right now in a town called Buena Vista.
Well, okay, I know that name. That's a famous name, isn't it? Oh, yes. Yeah, I told you earlier, I'm a movie geek. Yeah, that's a famous name. Oh, that's me waffling on. Should I do the questions instead?
We could do the questions.
Let's get the clock up on the screen. And there it goes. Kelly, could you tell me, please, who is your ideal client?
We at 2 Mile High Marketing, we work with business owners who are typically in the range of 2 million to our biggest client is 15 million, so 2 to 15 million, 2 million plus, who are wanting to build their thought leadership platform. So they usually have a decent sized company. They know they need to get out and speak, but they maybe don't have the people on their team who specialize in helping them build their platform. So whether or not they have a marketing team, we come alongside them to help them specifically develop their thought leadership platform.
Fantastic. And you've alluded to it there a little bit, but could you elaborate, please, a bit more on the kind of problem or problems that you solve for your ideal clients?
Yes. So like I said, they oftentimes they know they need to go out and speak, or they know that in order to grow their business, having that visibility, getting in front of their target audience, speaking, doing podcasts, showing up on LinkedIn, those are all really important things for them to be doing. And often they don't have the time, or they don't have the team members who specialize in that, or don't know, where to get them those speaking engagements, how to pitch them for podcasts, how to do their LinkedIn. They just don't have the time, and they need help with that.
All right. Okay, that's very clear. So what is one valuable free action that the audience can implement that will help them to move at least a little bit towards solving this problem or problems for themselves?
Well, I would say, so if you know that going out and speaking is important, and that you get clients when you go out and show up where they are, where they gather, it's free to apply, right? It's free to apply to speak. So it's one thing you can do is start blocking time in your calendar to be looking for those upcoming events, to spend time filling out the applications, to be thinking about what's ahead, because it's typically, you're looking at events often that are like 6 months ahead, right? Like, so right now I have to be thinking about what's happening the second half of the year, right? And thinking about where I can show up. So being intentional, setting time in your calendar, and making sure that you're following through and doing that.
Okay, that's very clear. Thank you very much. So now that we have a little bit of a better understanding of what you do, and I stress it is only a little bit, after all, I only gave you 3 minutes, which is not very much time at all. Let's dive briefly into goal busting, which is focusing on how to maximize productive time to achieve your business goals. Kelly, could you share any tips or advice for someone looking to improve their productivity habits, please?
Yeah. So I am a huge fan of time blocking. I even mentioned it right when I said uh, in order to get speaking events, block some time on your calendar. I am a serial time blocker. My assistant, I think, was a little shocked when she started working for me. It's like literally everything I do goes on my calendar. Um, and so when I'm wrestling with like, oh, I just have these client things I need to work on. I have these deliverables I need to work on. Whatever it is that is on my mind, it goes on my calendar. And I find that, I have all my meetings on my calendar. I have my personal, like, walk the dog in the morning is on my calendar because if I don't have it on there, it's not going to happen. Um, uh, One thing I'm guilty of is not putting lunch on there all the time, and so sometimes I that gets away from me, right? But yeah, so I block everything, and when you do that, you start to see how little, let's say it this way, how little time you have in a day and in a week, right? When you're intentional about all of your time blocks and making sure that you're focusing your time on the things you need to get done, you see how fast that time fills up. And it's no surprise that a lot of times we look back and go, what did I even do this week? Like how did I not get these 10 things done, whatever? Well, it's because the other things took us more time than we thought it was going to take. So that's my trick, is blocking out time for everything I need to do, not just my meetings, but the actual work that needs to get done.
Yeah, that's a brilliant piece of advice, actually. I mentioned this as one potential strategy. So I work on the basis with productivity that what works for you may not work for somebody else, but it might work brilliantly for you and for a lot of other people. So you have to have different strategies for different things. But one of the key points about what you're saying, I always suggest, is that you need to build in some flexibility as well. You need to have blocks of time where it's like, well, if I didn't get that done, here's the overrun time, here's the backup time. And I would suggest you need to speak to your personal assistant about putting some lunch time in your
Yeah.
planner. That's on her for forgetting to do that. Tut tut. All right. So finally, Kelly, what should I have asked you today that I didn't? And your answer, please.
Yeah. One question I often get is, why did I name my company 2 Mile High Marketing? So, I, you know, you are across, what do we call it? Across the pond,
Across the
whatever.
pond, yes.
From me, right? But where I live in Colorado, a lot of people know of Denver, Colorado, as the Mile High City. And where I live is actually at 2 miles high. So we are twice the elevation of Denver. It's Leadville, Colorado. I'm sitting in Buena Vista, but I have an office in town. I live up in a different area. That was the inspiration behind the name of my being in Colorado, which was one of the first states to legalize cannabis. I also try to explain to people that I'm not a cannabis marketing company, that I like to play with you said my title in the introduction, the Chief Elevation Officer. I help elevate thought leaders. And so 2 Mile High Marketing, if you go to our website, if you look at any of our branding, it's very mountain themed. And that's why, because I live in the mountains at 2 miles high.
Yes, and nothing to do with cannabis high. Oh, you've made that point
Right,
very
right,
clear. Yes,
right.
I'm glad you clarified that, actually. Now you mentioned it. It hadn't occurred to me, but it would have done eventually. And I would have went, wait a minute. So thank you so much. That was absolutely brilliant and fascinating. Very interesting business indeed. So, okay, we've done it in 7 minutes, which is brilliant. Thank you so much for doing that. I'm just going to get rid of the clock because that's annoying now. All right. So, Kelly, at this point, I do have a follow-up question, which I always ask at this point, which is a two-parter. Part one is, how can people reach you? So if they'd like to find out more and speak to you directly. And the second part is is there like a valuable free resource they could get from you as well? And I always say, being British, that's a rather cheeky question, but it's not really. It's a very practical way of people finding out more about what you do, and then they can see for themselves that what you do is brilliant. And of course they need to get in touch with you. Oh, I know how to get in touch with her because she told me how to do that as well. So over to you, Kelly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, best place to connect with me would be on LinkedIn. I am very active on LinkedIn. We help our clients with LinkedIn content. So, it's where I show up all the time. And I often post about thought leadership, personal branding, writing a book, all of those kinds of things. So if those are of interest, be sure to connect with me there. As far as a free resource, if you go to our website, which is 2milehighmarketing.com, right at the top, there is a link to take a quiz, and that quiz is to find your score as a thought leader. So if you're somebody who is wanting to build your thought leadership platform, you can go take that quiz. It takes 3 minutes, so it's very quick. While you're taking the quiz, it's thought-provoking. It helps you think about some of the things that maybe you're not doing. It helps you think about some of those areas where you could focus. At the end, it gives you a score and a recommendation for what to work on if you want to further develop your thought leadership platform. So it's a great resource. It's free, and it's right on our website.
Thank you very much. That's very thoughtful. Huh, see what I did there? Oh, no, that was awful. Not one of my better ones. I don't have better ones. All right. Kelly, that has been absolutely marvellous. Thank you so much for appearing on Goalbusters today. It's been an honour to meet you. It's been fascinating finding out more about what you do. Thank you again for appearing on Goalbusters.
Thanks for having me on, Robin.
You're extremely welcome. And remember, everybody, keep goal-busting and make your future self proud. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Goalbusters. If you're enjoying it, please subscribe, rate and review it on your favourite podcast platform. Your support is very much appreciated. And if you're ready to boost your online profits, skyrocket your productivity, crush procrastination, and see a positive change in your bank balance, all within just 30 days, this is your opportunity. Take my free 5-day challenge at www.skyrocketyourproductivitychallenge.com.